Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. I didn't really have a video idea this week, but I'm going to be going over some drills that I use a lot for improving triple jump. I started doing this recently and I've felt a lot of improvement, and I felt the need to share this with you guys, and I thought it would be very helpful. Now, these drills I don't really see many other coaches talking about or doing, but I definitely think these are they're very helpful, and they've improved a lot with my form. And what I like to call these sand jumps. So this workout, it's made up of four different workouts, and these include star jumps, bounds, first phase single leg bounds, and triple jump bounds. So before we get started with the drills, of course, we want to get a good stretch in. Now, this is the stretch that I like to use. It involves a little bit of a jog for a warm-up, and then just a couple quad, hamstring, calf stretches, a little bit of A skip and B skip. Now, of course, I do a lot more. I'm not including that all in this video, but I will include a link in the description for some stretch routines that I think are very helpful. So go check those out if you really want a good solid stretch routine. Now that we're all warmed up, let's take off our shoes, step into the sand, and we'll begin with the first workout being star jumps. Now, if you don't know what star jumps are, and if you've never done them before, try doing this on the ground first, just to get a feel for the motion before actually doing these in the sand, because the sand prevents you from actually getting up. What you want to do is you want to start with 2 feet planted in the ground, and then you want to jump up, bring one arm forward, and then the opposite knee forward, and then you want to bring the other arm back and the other leg back. Pretty similar to a Mario jump. Then what you're going to do is, as you're coming down, you're going to put them back together and then go back to your starting position, but then quickly jump again and then switch all your limbs. Now, you're going to want to repeat this multiple times. The reps that I suggest is around 20, so 10 for each leg. Another thing you want to do is try to keep moving a little bit forward. I move a lot forward in this drill, but you want to stay in the sand the entire time, but move a little bit forward so that you're not stepping your own sand prints, so that you go into fluffy sand and it prevents you from actually like exploding off the ground. One thing I do want to point out, however, is try not to focus on getting as really high up. I know I got really high up and I was actually focusing on that. I was actually doing this drill wrong. What you want to do is you want to be focusing on quickly contacting the ground and then being able to just rappel off it as quickly as possible. Don't worry about the height. And then finally, I've said this before, do like 3 sets of 10 on these. These can be pretty tiring. Make sure you take a break in between each set, and that's it. Next up workout you're going to want to do are simple bounds. Usually you're going to be doing this in your warm-up for jumping on just regular ground. It's pretty simple. You bring your knee forward and your other leg back as if you're doing the second phase of a triple jump, and then you contact the ground, and then you do with the other knee forward. You're going to want to start from a standstill position in the sand, and you're going to want to keep bounding throughout the entire sand pit until you reach the other side and you eventually jump out of the pit. Once again, try to focus on contacting the ground really quickly. And another thing I really want to focus on is especially try not to go up and instead try to go forward. That's the biggest thing with triple jump. A lot of people make the mistake of trying to get super high up because they see these professionals getting really high up and they're like, oh, that would definitely help out my triple jump. That is not what you want. These professionals, they have a lot of speed, and that speed makes up for the amount of height they get off the ground. You'll know if you'll be doing this correct if you feel throughout each bound you are accelerating and getting more and more speed. If you're doing that, you're doing this correct. Make sure that you're standing up straight and you're not drifting towards the left or the right. Another thing to know if you are doing this drill correctly is to look back in your footprints. If you see that your footprints are getting farther and farther apart from each jump, then you are doing this correctly. You're accelerating and you're gaining speed. You're pushing off correctly. Now, for your arms and your bounding, it's really up to you. Personally, I like to do a double arm action where I swing both of the arms forward and then bring them back. However, a lot of females like to do single arm action, which I demonstrated here. The arms is really up to you. I'm not saying it is specific for genders. It is more specific for just what feels right to you. There have been many successful triple jumpers that have used single arm actions, and they're a male. It doesn't really matter. It's really whatever is up to you. Now, for the bounds, I suggest going 5 to 7 reps of just going through the sand pit and with that, your bounds are complete. This next drill is really, really difficult and really complex. In fact, I don't really do this too much because it is very difficult for me. If you are trying this workout and you are also experiencing difficulty, I suggest just doing this on regular hard ground or turf. But if you are able to do this correctly, it is very, very helpful. Now for this workout, what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna start on the edge of the runway. Then you're gonna take a step into the sand and then begin repeating your first phase with the preferred leg that you would use in a normal triple jump. You're gonna wanna keep repeating this similar to the bounds all the way until you reach the edge of the pit and eventually jump out of the sand pit. Now what makes this workout so difficult is simply the fact that your contact from the first phase to the second phase of a normal triple jump is really difficult, and it is really the hardest part of the triple jump, because if you don't have a good contact, you're not going to have a good jump. This drill greatly improves how you contact the ground, and it makes you contact it much more quickly and much more powerfully, and therefore improving your first phase of your normal triple jump. But like I said, this is very difficult, and by doing this workout on just regular ground is also very, very helpful. And I suggest to every single athlete of triple jumping to incorporate this into your workout. Timing is key in this workout specifically, because that first to second phase is where a lot of that timing on the impact is really messed up. And if you contact too early, the whole jump's messed up, and if you contact too late, the whole jump's messed up. And these two examples I have are where you contact way too early and contact way too late. If you contact too late, you're not going to go anywhere on your jump. However, if you contact too early, you're going to break down, and as you see, I'm going to fall back behind me. If that does happen, don't worry about it, just repeat it. It's a hard workout. It happens to all of us. It happens to me all the time, so I wouldn't worry about it too much. And as mentioned before, one of the most important things is to stay square during these jumps. I suggest doing around 5 to 7 reps of these, of going just straight through the sand pit. And with that workout's pretty much done. Now the last workout you're going to be doing within the sand jumps are pretty much triple bounds. Now for the triple bounds, you're going to want to do the same thing that you were doing for the first phase single leg hops when it comes to starting this workout. You're going to start at the edge of the runway, step into the sand, and then begin doing the first phase of your triple jump. After you do the first phase, you're going to do your second, and then instead of doing your last phase and landing like you would in a normal triple jump, you're going to bound your third phase and then repeat the entire cycle, and you're going to want to keep doing that out of the pit. Now in this example, I ended up going pretty far. I ended up building a little bit too much speed at the beginning. You don't really want to build up too much speed. The main goal is to really put everything that you have learned together. You're going to want to be contacting quickly. You're going to want to be going forward and accelerating. You're going to want to be staying square. Everything that is said and done before, you're going to be putting together for this final set. And just like all the other jumps, I suggest 5 to 7 reps, and that's pretty much it. Now real quick, I'm going to kind of get into scientific reasoning as to why I believe that these help drastically with your triple jump. If you don't want to hear that, go to this time right here. You can skip all that because there is a little bit I do want to say at the end. Now, after doing these drills, I felt a lot more powerful in my jumps. The reason for this is because unlike regular hard ground, sand is much softer and is much less dense than just normal ground. When your foot contacts that top surface level of the sand, you're not going to be rappelling off it immediately. You're going to have to wait until you compress the sand, in which it can then push you off from the force that you are applying into the ground. By doing this, it forces you to be contacting the ground much, much quicker. And as you do this, in the start, it'll feel weird, but then eventually you'll learn, okay, I have to put as much power as I can really quickly into the sand. And I'm doing this to get as much power as I can within the short amount of time that I am contacting ground. This process of contacting ground as powerful as you can, as quickly as you can, is exactly what you want to do in the triple jump by itself. You want to be contacting the ground super quickly in order to maintain all that speed that you have built up from your run-up. However, you don't also just want to be quick, you also want to be powerful and make sure you are pushing forward to further keep the speed that you are creating and to overall have a very successful jump. Now, real quickly, before I want to finish this episode off, I do want to let you guys know I am not a coach. I am simply an athlete. However, all of my teammates that I've shared this drill to, they have tried it and they have found success with it. They have felt a lot more powerful, and I've seen their form in their triple jump improve greatly. Now, I do not want to force you athletes out there to incorporate this into any of your workouts. However, I do suggest it simply because meets aren't starting right now, at least for me. And all I want you to do is, you don't have to like it. You don't have to put this into like every week of your workouts. Just give it a shot and let me know how it affected you and what are your overall thoughts on it. But anyway, that's all I have. So thank you so much for watching. I hope this video was very helpful to you. Let me know if you want any other track tips that I can give you, and I'll see you next week.